Mr. President, I come down to the floor tonight to speak on a couple important foreign policy issues. And I want to begin by talking about what's going to be happening in Alaska in just a few days. Really, the eyes of the world are going to be on Fairbanks, Alaska, the Golden Heart City in the middle of Alaska's interior, for a major foreign policy event. The United States will be hosting the ministerial of the Arctic Council and will be passing the chairmanship of that council over to Finland. So the Arctic Council is an important foreign policy body. It consists of the Arctic countries of the world: US, Canada, Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, Sweden, and Russia. And all the foreign ministers of all those countries in just a few days will be in Fairbanks, Alaska. Now, Mr. President, this is not the first time in recent memory that the Golden Heart city of Fairbanks has been on the world stage hosting a critical foreign policy meeting of world leaders. In fact, almost exactly 33 years ago to this very day, 1984, May 2nd, in Fairbanks, Alaska, Pope John Paul II and President Ronald Reagan met in Fairbanks. It was a great meeting. You can see the chemistry already between these two great world leaders. And right now, some historians believe that it was the Fairbanks meeting of these two great leaders where the Pope and the great President Ronald Reagan laid out their vision and plans to vanquish global communism in Fairbanks. Mr. President, America is an Arctic nation because of Alaska. And we have very significant strategic interests in the Arctic. Economic opportunity, transportation routes, sea routes now beginning to open because of receding sea ice, responsible natural resource development, enormous natural resources of all types, including oil and gas, protecting the environment, and respecting the culture and way of life of the peoples in the Arctic, particularly the indigenous peoples, including their subsistence hunting rights. Now, after a substantial discussion that I had just a couple days ago with Secretary of State Tillerson about the upcoming ministerial, I am confident that this ministerial will focus on these important issues. Going forward, it's important to remember that right now, in the Arctic, there are real people with real lives, real families, real needs who live in this part of the world. These are my constituents. These are the people I represent. They're resilient, tough, hardworking, and very, very generous. The world is going to see them this week hosting the Arctic Council Ministerial in Fairbanks. I want to thank all of them for their hard work in preparing for this event, and I want to thank Secretary Tillerson for rallying all of the world's Arctic foreign ministers to Alaska in the next few days. I will be there supporting this very, very important event. Mr. President, I ask